So first, let's start with some information that we got from the Starfield Direct. I got some notes here, so let's start. Yeah, let's start very early on at 1 minute, and let's see what they say.
In space, where you weren't really limited in where you could go or what you could do, and that is Starfield.
Yeah, so he's saying how the idea of Starfield came to life, and it's basically what he says here. You can hear him.
About and dream up the space game. The Fallout, we love creating these worlds and playing in them just as much as you do. And throughout all that time, we'd often talk about and dream up the space game. What if we could take that feeling of being who you want to be and exploring a new world, but set it in space, where you weren't really limited in where you could go or what you could do?
So it's coming out of his mouth that we would not be limited to where we would go, what we wanted to do. So I believe that based on these few words right off the bat, the game will be fully explorable and the planets we land will be 100% explorable. I've seen some discussions of people saying that you will land in a zone on the planet and you will have a limited area to explore. So basically, if you keep going, it will come a time that you will reach an invisible wall, and then you have to turn back or fast travel to your ship. And if you want to explore another part of the planet, you would have to land the ship again in that said location. I don't think that's the case. I know that some people are worried about that, but I don't think that will happen. We will talk a little bit about how the worlds, the planets were made and how the landscapes were made, and it will be more clear.
And that is Starfield. Obviously, we've come a long way since then with the games we've built, our technology.
Now let's move to 2 minutes.
Of unlimited possibilities. But this time, it's not just one world. It's over 1,000 worlds. Because the choice of where to go, it's not ours, it's yours.
That's also very clear that we have the choice to go wherever we go, not them. So, of course, we have the main quest line, and we'll end up going through there, but they're not limiting us. So that said, it's possible to explore anywhere and basically ignore the quest line for some time. If that were not true, like if they didn't give us that freedom, we would be limited to stay in one specific spot in the planet.
And it wasn't until now that we had the technology to create it. From the rocks at your feet, to the mountains in the distance, to the people and creatures that live in these worlds.
So he's saying then again that we can explore basically everything. The rocks in our feet, the mountains in the distance, the moon right there, that moon is real.
That isn't just a backdrop. That moon is actually there orbiting the planet. Yes, you can visit it too.
Yes, and I believe that like all planets, all moons, they will fully explorable. Of course, most moons, they will be resource heavy, I believe, and they will not contain life unless it's tied to the main quest or some quest lines. Apart from that, I think they will be mostly for resource gathering. And if you go to the Starfield website, the official website, we have here this about Starfield. Starfield is the first new universe in over 25 years from Bethesda Game Studios, the award-winning creators of The Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim, and Fallout 4. And in this next generation role-playing game, set among the stars, create any character you want and explore with unparalleled freedom. So this also is a good indication that the universe created will be fully explorable. Now if we jump to, let's say, 4 minutes and 30 here.
Ship. We have companions and crew you can take with
A little bit
and
back.
and you're done spacesuits to
Yes, there are a multitude of spacesuits. Todd has mentioned that in another interview as well. And he mentions that there are different spacesuits for different tasks with different buffs, let's say. So there's a spacesuit or more than one for biohazard, or one that's more tolerable to specific weather and whatnot. So these different suits will enable us to explore different locations and different places and under different conditions. And I believe that these will happen progressively as we play, and we'll be unlocking those. Now let's jump to here.
this is your star map.
So we can see here we have the star map, and every time you're close to a planet, you will land, or you want to land, you have a lot of information about it, type, gravity, temperature, so on. So before you land on it or before you leave your ship, you have to equip the right suit, the right gear, so you can explore it. You can see that in this one the water is radioactive, so you probably won't be messing around with the water unless you have the proper suit for that. You also have the resources that are there. The planet traits, I'm not sure what they are about, but there are 2 in this planet. And in most planets you have these POIs that you can choose to land on. Most likely they are handcrafted content. And the rest of the planet you can land wherever you want, but probably you won't find much going on there. Just resources and some animals, but not too heavy in the POIs if it's not designed for that. And I also think that there will be some POIs that they handcrafted, but they will be somewhat procedurally generated in the planets that are not tied to the main quest line.
It starts with the planet you're currently, but for now, we'll
Now here, something that Todd said is that the star systems, they have different levels. So if we come back a little bit here, you'll be able to see, for example, the Volley or Vol 2, I'm not sure what's the name there, but this star system is a level 5 star system. So the more you level up, you will unlock, so the more you level up, the easier it will be. So the more you level up, so as we level up, we'll have more exploration options, and we will be able to explore more difficult and probably more challenging. And as you can see here, this star system, Volley or Vol 2, I'm not sure about the name, is of level 5. So systems, they have levels in Starfield. So as we progress, as we level up, we will have access to other star systems, more challenging star systems, let's say.
Uses your ship's grav drive to fold space and jump to these systems.
And something that was also mentioned,
and you will need to upgrade your ship and skills.
You can see these star systems is a level 45 star system, and I believe they go until 100 or maybe over that.
If you want to jump to the most distant ones. But for now, we'll plot a course to the Alpha.
Now here you can briefly see that Alpha Centauri is a level 1 star system. So that's most likely the star system we will start. I know that in the direct they say that we start our story with the constellation there. So yeah, I believe it will be the first star system we'll go to and start the main storyline there.
Centauri system, where we can find the city of New Atlantis.
Now let's move on to 20 minutes.
When you leave a planet and head into space, you'll be navigating asteroid fields, having chance meetings with interesting strangers.
So we have asteroid fields. I am not sure if we'll be able to mine them. There's no information about that anywhere so far. I tried going over the guns and the information we have about the ships. But let's leave that for the next video. So if you want to keep watching this kind of content, Starfield content, make sure to hit the like button and the subscribe, and also activate the notification bell. But let's keep watching the video.
Dogfighting in space and exploring derelict ships. It's all out there. Ultimately, it's about rewarding your curiosity, because whether it's on the surface of a planet, the alleys of a city, or the vastness of space, you never know what you'll find.
So you can see then again, someone from the team saying about the freedom we have in exploration that is rewarded by every corner we go, be it in space, in a city, in the surface of a planet. So I'm pretty sure we won't be limited by any sort of invisible walls or anything like that. Something very interesting that was said here around 25 minutes.
And now, let's take to the sky.
Look at that, this looks amazing. It's just like breathtaking. I just can't wait to play. And you can see you have this asteroid field. They look detailed, so I believe that if not at launch, mining will be added further down the line. Let's hope for the best.
We're putting you in the cockpit of your very own spaceship and telling you that you can do pretty much anything. And that is really cool for us.
So you can see he just said that we can do pretty much anything in our ship. And I hope that asteroid mining is among that, is in that list, that things we can do
As developers.
Yeah, that's it for this video, for the Starfield Direct. Now, there was also this interview. If you haven't checked, if you don't know this channel yet, Lex Friedman, there's this interview he had with Todd 6 months ago, and he says some very interesting things. So first, let's start on 58. Give me a second. Yeah, so here basically Todd's talking about when they started thinking about the game and the exploration, how it would go. So let's watch it.
On a single planet.
Mhm.
Elder Scrolls series is uh, on a single planet, so this is going out into the open world of many star systems, many planets. I saw that it's thinking about 100 star systems and 1,000 planets available to explore. What is that world of stars and planets like?
Well, you mentioned Daggerfall. We go back to some of that. Well, the first when we did it was, how are we going to render a planet, like pull it off for the player? Like, can we? Or do we have to sort of do it where you can't land on all of them, where you're landing in a very controlled, small world space that we, kind of craft, and you would have a very limited set of those.
Mhm.
You go back to tone, like, well, that's probably the wrong tone.
Yeah, so he is saying basically what many of us are worried about and what these discussions are going on, that it would not be good for the game if we land on a spot and we have that delimited area to explore and we wouldn't have really that freedom. So that's basically him saying that they thought about that, but that's not the approach they took.
And how can we say yes? Like, I want to land on that ice ball. So we started the game right after Fallout 4, so 2016. And the first thing we did was, how can we have a system to generate these planets and make them look, I'll say reasonable, as opposed to, fractally goop.
Well, what's the technical definition of goop? Fractally goop.
Fractally goop. You've probably seen a lot of like simulations, whether they're space things or landscape things, where they're using fractals and just the landscape does not look real. It just is like highs and lows and it's muddy. And so we did find a way. We came up with a way, had prototyped of building tiles, like large tiles of landscape, the way we would usually build them. We kind of generate them offline, hand do some things, and
So basically, the way they designed the world, they created these huge tiles of landscape with POIs and resources and things to do. And then they combine them together.
end up with these very realistic looking tiles of landscape, and then built a system that wraps those around a planet and blends them all together.
So I think this is very reassuring for me. So yes, the worlds are created in tiles, but they are all wrapped. Yeah, they all wrap the planet and are blended together. So I believe that as we walk in the planet, we will transition from one tile to the other seamlessly. We won't even notice the difference from one tile to the other. And that's very reassuring for me. I believe it will be an amazing experience. I can see myself like spending days in the same planet just exploring.
And we had pretty successful results with that. And so we thought, yeah, we could do this. And so there was a big design kind of problem to solve in terms of, well, what's fun about landing on a planet where there's potentially nothing? Because there's a lot of planets and moons, if you kind of, right, in reality, that, well, there's nothing on them except resources. And so we spent a lot of time figuring out, okay, let's just lean in on that can be a lonely experience, as long as we tell the player, here's what's there, here are the resources that are there, go find them. But I equate it to that moment of, we said about listening to the wind go and watching the sunset. And I do think there's a certain beauty to landing on a strange planet, being somewhat the only person there, building an outpost. And we are modeling all of the systems because that's how we like to do things. So you can watch whatever that gas giant or moon, it will rotate and go, and sunrise, sunset, and all of those things that you would expect. And it's all really happening. And most people probably won't notice or appreciate all of that, but I think it gives them the ability to say, I want to go do that and see that on that place, as long as we tell them, hey, the quest leads over here. Here's where the handcrafted content is that you would expect. And then here's more of the open procedural planet experience.
Yes, so as you can see, he said that, yeah, we have the main quest line, you have the handcrafted content that we expect, the storylines and the standard Bethesda stuff that they have in their games. And there's also the procedurally generated experience with other stuff to do and the exploration in it. So yeah, I'm very confident that we'll have a very nice game with a very expansive universe to explore, and we'll just lose ourselves playing this game. Now, something very interesting that he said as well. So he said,
we used to run out of fuel, and we came
I read that space
basis.
Now here there's something very interesting. Now here there's something very interesting that he said. So let's go.
This star system.
I read that space travel is considered dangerous in this game. Can you explain?
That's more of, that goes back to a tone thing, right? When you actually play the game, because it's a game, like, we don't really kill you when you fly out into space. But it has a tone of, there's some effort involved, and we've dialed it back as we've been making the game, whereas we used to run out of fuel. You jump and get stranded, which on paper was a great, like, it's a great moment when you get stranded and you have to press this beacon and you don't know who's going to come. Mm-hmm. Turns out that's not like, it just stops your game. We found you'd be playing the game and I ran out of fuel. Okay, I guess I'll just wander these planets trying to mine for fuel so I can get back to what I was doing. Mm-hmm. It just, it's a fun killer.
That's too realistic of a simulation of the human condition.
Yeah, and the idea was, well, it's for, games do that. If you had like a hardcore, you're right, a hardcore survival mode, that's the kind of thing you would do. Maybe we'll do it in the future.
Okay, so yes, fuel won't run out in the game. Of course, you have to update our drive to go from system to system or to go to a further away system, but the fuel will normally run out. And I really like that he said that they might implement that in the future as a hardcore mode, where if you will run out and you have to land somewhere or wait for help to keep going about your day and what you were doing before. I think that will be something very good. And they are already thinking about features that they can implement further down the line in the future update in the game. So yeah, that's it for today's video. Let me know down in the comments how you think the exploration will be. If you agree with me that you will explore you'll be able to explore every little corner of the galaxy without any problems, or if you think there will be barriers and there will be invisible walls that will limit our experience. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you on the next one.